Out to Wall Street, the Dow closed up 222 points after falling more than 2% during this volatile week.
Meanwhile, President Trump now threatening new and more tariffs, specifically a 250% tariff on Canadian dairy products. Now, this move comes a day after he temporarily backed off a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico.
And the Trump administration also taking aim at Columbia University, canceling $400 million in grants and contracts to the university over allegations of anti-Semitism during protests on campus. And just this hour, we're also learning of a confrontation during a White House meeting yesterday. Eyewitness News anchor Mike Marza is here with more.
Sade and Bill, this has been brewing for a while. Elon Musk at odds with some of the president's cabinet members over his Doge department's efforts to cut federal jobs. Well, yesterday it boiled over during this cabinet meeting. Musk and Secretary of State Marco Rubio clashing. Musk accusing Rubio of not firing anyone in the State Department. The president eventually had to interrupt and ended up praising both. President Trump today downplayed this spat, saying that they both get along fantastically. Just one of the many comments from the president today.
It's an interesting time in the history of the world.
A day after a reprieve for Canada and Mexico, President Trump threatening new action.
Canada has been ripping us off for years on tariffs for lumber and for dairy products. 250%. Nobody ever talks about that.
Dangling a 250% reciprocal tariff on dairy products from Canada.
They'll be met with the exact same tariff unless they drop it. And that's what reciprocal means. And we may do it as early as today, or we'll wait till Monday.
As Trump's trade war continues, the battle in Ukraine rages on, ahead of a summit with Ukrainian and U.S. leaders next week.
I find that in terms of getting a final settlement, it may be easier dealing with Russia, which is surprising because they have all the cards. I mean, they're bombing the hell out of them right now. And I put a statement in, a very strong statement. Can't do that.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio and National Security Advisor Mike Waltz traveling to Saudi Arabia, trying to strike a deal to end the fighting.
The Ukrainians had a great opportunity to bind our economies together through that mineral deal. Unfortunately, that didn't go so well. But we think we're going to get things back on track.
But as the U.S. works to wind down one war, President Trump seemed to tease more action with Iran.
And what's going to happen with Iran? And there'll be some interesting days ahead. That's all I can tell you.
The president sending a letter to Iran's supreme leader, demanding it end its rapidly growing nuclear program.
You know, we're down to final strokes with Iran. That's going to be an interesting time. And we'll see what happens. But we're down to the final moments. We're at final moments. You can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
Iran continues to deny it is working on a nuclear program, but today the Iranian mission to the UN here in New York says it hadn't even received a letter. And guys, President Trump may be trying to get an upper hand here. We know what's happened in Iran in recent years, and particularly in recent months. U.S. officials believe that they may be in a diplomatic weakened state. You had the overthrow of Bashar al-Assad, the former president, plus you've had the Israeli forces just bombarding the Iranian-backed militias. So we'll see how it all plays out, but a lot of stuff said by the president today.
So much happening out there. Huh?
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, thanks, Michael.
Thanks.